cropper in the southwestern district of Caramballoch and been home on the farm cropping for about 22 years.
Hi, I'm Jared O'Brien. I work as an agronomist at Western Ag Supplies based in Darren. I've been there for 15 years, or pretty much since its inception. Prior to that, I was with Landmark at Skipton for 3 years and in Ballarat a few years before that.
Craig Drum, agronomist out of Taddeum in southwest Victoria. Been down this part of the world for 12 years, and then before that 10 years in the Mallee, Wimmera Mallee in Victoria.
Since I've been farming, we've had probably one severe frost every 10 years and probably had a few touch-ups in different varieties and different timings of sowing over that 10-year, probably two hits in 10. So, but yes, it is an issue for us that we have to manage occasionally.
In 10s, probably gone close to 2 in 10 at times, but yeah, certainly some of them aren't as severe, but it's a risk every year. It depends on the topography, of course, and the seasonal circumstances.
Since we've been getting a few more frequent frosts in the last few years on our lower country, we've had to putting in more infrastructure for handling hay, so it takes the stress out of it. If we do have to cut it, at least we can put it somewhere out of the weather and sit on it if we have to. And timing of sowing, with our program, it's just start sowing. We have to, but it would be nice in a bit smaller program to be able to spread it out a bit if we could.
Probably the only other change on top of that, got a few guys in high risk areas that will grow a few more milling oats instead of wheat or barley. Definitely don't tend to be as prone to frost. Hay's obviously set up for hay's definitely as they grow as miles is definitely a role in that, and any real super high risk areas is to change that cropping type. So either a really just make sure you avoid that risk. So you're sowing a revenue wheat maybe in June or July, and know you'll get heat at the other end, but definitely those areas that are getting 6, maybe touched up 6 or 7 times out of 10. So really high risk areas, taking that real risk out of it.
Yeah, well, I certainly endorse that, Remy, but yeah, also on the canola side, you either do or you don't like them, but the use of the winter types, because they are so late flowering, that if you do have a suspect area or one that's been prone to be frosted in the past, that's probably a good alternative. You can look at it, there's 2 times you can be frosted, either a flowering frost or a grain development frost. And personally, I think our worst frosts are the grain development ones. So probably the 17 one was about the 8th of November from memory. So yeah, quite late. So not very often do we see the significant flowering frost, sorry.
Got a paddock or a block on the farm that actually a lot higher frequency of frost. We do need to manage those blocks differently. There's no point to keep doing the same thing in those areas. So whether it be different crop type or change sowing date.
Yeah. I think also it depends on the individual case. Like if a grower say has hay sheds and facilities and has the willingness to want to do hay, you can sort of minimise your risk there by saying, okay, potentially we could get frosted, but we'll do our best to grow the biggest crop we can so that we can maximise the high hay yield. But if you've got a grower that just detests hay, doesn't have the capacity to do it, then yeah, you've obviously got to do a different management strategy for that grower.
When we got smoked in 2017, we didn't realise how little moisture the plant could survive on. And it looked very good, the crops looked sensational, but there was very little moisture down below, and they were obviously more stressed than we realised. Because when we got frosted in the 08 year, the worst parts of our paddocks were the headlands, where we'd double sow on everything, where we'd overlapped, and if you walk past that point on the headland and into the main part of the paddock, it wasn't frosted. So in that year we just cut the headlands, which were completely smoked, where they'd been moisture stressed. Compared to the rest of the paddock, which we let go and got our 5.5 tonne, which was unbelievable considering how bad the headlands were. So, yeah, moisture stress.
think I'd like to see a bit more data in length of temperatures. So how long it's below zero for, and we'd expect what sort of damage, and how long below -2 or -3. That's number one. I think there'd be some data out there starting to show us there. I've no doubt there is a little bit of variety at times, so probably a little bit of that. But the other one about 17, which I was unaware of, and until after that happened, is that effect of that shower of rain we had on that Friday night, and then the frost afterwards, and so that data's come out of Europe and out of WA and been out for 8 or 9 or 10 years, and none of us were aware of it. Now, it wouldn't have made any difference between management. And yes, we started seeing the damage 4 days later, so it probably wouldn't have made any difference there, but we were sort of wondering why we went so quick and why it was so severe, and it wasn't until afterwards that we found out that 2 or 3 mil on dark or just after dark, and then the cloud went and in she came, that I think it was a main contributing factor. It was cold, but it was not -5 or -6 or -7. It was a good frost. It wasn't a humdinger considering it. It took out hundreds of millions of dollars out of the district in a couple of nights.
Something else that may be a little bit left of field, but there's a few companies out there now with these biological stimulants. They're all running around independently saying, we'll mitigate some stress, but it's yet to be proven. But you take it to someone like GRDC to try and prove it, and as you said before, Drumming, to try and get a year where you're going to get a frost, and you could do the work for 5 years and you may not get a result, but certainly there's a few things out there, but certainly nothing proven. And I think the other thing too would be if you could shorten the period from when it was frosted to make a decision. So I don't know whether you could measure the sugar levels or something like that. If there's a significant increase in sugar levels, I've got no idea, but whether there was some sort of quick test, because really you do have to wait 7 days to get a clear picture.
Or the other one is they are doing work with imagery, aren't they? So that's what I'd love to see a bit more of the work of that done. If we could get an image, because you get a good frost, normally get a good sunny day that afternoon. In a few days.
Quite an intense period, like when you've got a client base and you've had significant frost, and everyone wants to look at that day, and it nearly becomes impossible. So if there was a tool to help you out, it'd be fantastic.